Donald Trump's journey from ambition to power. The boy who dreamed big. Donald John Trump was born on June 14th, 1946 in Queens, New York. From an early age, he was different from the other boys. While many kids were busy playing without a care in the world, Donald was already looking at neighborhood buildings with the eyes of someone who wanted more. He was the fourth child of Fred Trump, a successful builder in real estate. Fred wasn't just a father. He was a living example of hard work, discipline, and vision. Donald watched his father leave home early to manage buildings, empty lots, and renovations, always carrying himself like someone who refused to lose. The Trump family home was large, but not a fairy tale castle. Fred Trump believed in discipline. To him, a son had to be strong, determined, and learn early how to face the world. Donald grew up hearing his father say, "You have to think big. Thinking small or big takes the same effort." Those words stuck with him. In school, Donald was an energetic boy. He didn't like rigid rules or sitting still for long. He wanted to act, lead, build. That rebellious spirit caused problems, but it also strengthened his self-confidence. Seeing his son's energy, Fred made a tough decision. He sent Donald to the New York Military Academy when he was just 13. For many kids, that would have been a punishment. For Donald, it was training camp for life. There, he learned discipline, leadership, and never to back down from a challenge. Even within strict rules, Donald found ways to stand out. He became captain of the cadet company, learned to command, motivate, and inspire other boys. It was there that he discovered he had something inside him even stronger than rebellion, an ambition that seemed endless. A young man with vision. After the academy, Donald attended the Wharton School of Finance at the University of Pennsylvania, one of the most prestigious business schools in the world. He knew he needed knowledge to turn his dreams into reality. In college, he wasn't the student who spent all day locked up in the library. He liked learning by doing. On weekends, he visited construction sites with his father, listened to talks about loans, contracts, and negotiations. While other young men dreamed of sports cars, Donald dreamed of skyscrapers bearing his name. When he graduated, he returned to his father's company. But Donald didn't want to stay in Queens, building houses for the middle class. He wanted Manhattan. For many, that was madness. Manhattan's real estate market was dominated by experienced tycoons, powerful banks, strong unions. A guy in his 20s seemed to have no chance. But Donald wasn't just any guy. His first major step was revitalizing the Commodore Hotel, an old building practically abandoned. He convinced the city of New York, investors, and even older partners that the project was viable. He secured tax breaks, navigated endless paperwork, and in 1980, he opened the Grand Hyatt Hotel. It was a huge success. New York started talking about the young Trump as a name to watch. A name that shines. With the success of the Grand Hyatt, Donald gained confidence. And for him, confidence was everything. Within a few years, he built Trump Tower, one of New York's most iconic buildings. Luxurious, imposing, with indoor waterfalls and imported marble. It wasn't just a building. It was a statement. Trump Tower wasn't just an address, it was a symbol. Donald quickly understood the power of branding. His surname became synonymous with luxury, boldness, and success. And he didn't stop there. In the 1980s and 1990s, Trump expanded into casinos, golf courses, and resorts. Each new venture came with huge challenges: debt, economic crises, fierce competition. But Trump always stuck to his motto, think big. Even when he made mistakes, he learned. Even when he fell, he got back up. Falls, criticism, and a comeback. Trump's path wasn't just about victories. In the early 1990s, a real estate crisis nearly destroyed everything he had built. He faced billions in debt. Banks wanted him out. The media announced that Donald Trump was finished. But giving up wasn't in his vocabulary. In an interview, when asked how he handled such huge debt, he pointed to a homeless man on the street and said, "You know what's funny? He's better off than me. He doesn't owe billions." The quote was controversial, but it showed how Trump saw life, with frankness and the will to start over. With tireless negotiations, he restructured debts, sold assets, and reorganized companies. And when many were calling him bankrupt, he came back even bigger. For Trump, every fall was an opportunity to prove to himself that nothing could stop him. The media mogul. Beyond business, Donald Trump became an entertainment figure. His eccentric personality, strong opinions, and direct style drew attention. He was invited onto talk shows, commercials, and in 2004 launched the reality show The Apprentice. In the show, aspiring entrepreneurs competed for a position in the Trump Organization. The phrase, "You're fired," became a national catchphrase. The show wasn't just entertainment. It was a lesson in business, strategy, and leadership. For many, Trump became the living example of the American dream. The leap into politics. Even with fame and fortune, Donald wanted more. He had flirted with politics as early as the 1980s, but it was in 2015 that he officially announced his candidacy for the presidency of the United States. Many laughed. Traditional politicians saw him as a joke. Analysts said he had no chance. But Trump knew the power of communication. He spoke directly to the people, without a filter, unafraid of controversy. He criticized the political elite, promised to make America great again. That phrase became a battle cry for millions. In 2016, against all predictions, Donald Trump defeated Hillary Clinton and became the 45th president of the United States. It was a historic victory, shocking to some, inspiring to others. For Trump, it was proof that thinking big, believing in yourself, and challenging the impossible is the only way. 4 years that changed everything. His presidency was marked by controversial decisions, clashes with the media, aggressive immigration policies, tax cuts, diplomatic tensions, and an economy that, before the pandemic, showed record growth. Trump wasn't a traditional politician. He was, above all, a businessman bringing his business philosophy to the White House. Loved by millions, hated by others, Trump never went unnoticed. He faced protests, impeachments, scandals, but also mobilized millions who felt heard by him like never before. After the White House, in 2020, he lost re-election to Joe Biden, but left office with a polarizing legacy and a loyal base of supporters. Even out of power, Trump remained influential. He launched his own social media platform, held rallies, published books, and hinted at new runs for office. To his critics, he's a threat. To his supporters, he's a living inspiration to stand up to the system. The legacy of a fearless life. Donald Trump's story is more than just a tale of wealth and power. It's a lesson in boldness. It's the portrait of someone who was told countless times that he couldn't do it, yet always believed in himself. He proved that no one is too big to fall, but also that no one is too small to rise again. That the power of a dream can be stronger than the force of criticism. And that to win, you have to risk, lose, learn, and try again. The message for you. Life is a roller coaster. There will be falls, emotional bankruptcies, debts of hope. But every fall is also a lesson. Donald Trump shows that being ambitious isn't a sin, it's fuel. That being criticized isn't the end, It's motivation, and that no one ever made history by just blending into the crowd. So, if a kid from Queens, rebellious, untamable, and stubborn, managed to write his name among the biggest, why couldn't you? In the end, this isn't just Trump's book. It's an invitation for you to believe in your own skyline.